I want to start this video with Ori. Yes, someone asked him, "What do you do, Ori?" And this was his response.
You go for a jog, you're a jogger. You paint, you're a painter. I'm living, I'm a liver. I am here to live, I'm living. Yeah, I'm a liver. Sometimes I say to people, I'm a liver. They're like, okay, I'm a pair of lungs. I'm like, no, babe. Like, I'm a liver. I am living.
A lot of older viewers, when they heard this sentence, they thought that this is everything that is wrong with Gen Z. No ambition, no discipline, no respect for hard work, just vibes, just existence, just living. And honestly, I get why this sort of attitude annoys people. Ori is just vocalizing what a lot of younger folks are thinking today.
We just want to live, please. Leave us alone. Let us be livers.
Hidden in this very stupid sounding thought is deep meaning. Or at least I think there is. If you read into it, this clip represents an attitude that a lot of Gen Z people who are watching this video will relate to. Working hard does not automatically lead to a better life in 2026. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I'm interacting with a lot of Gen Zs, and a large chunk of my audience is in fact Gen Z. I have been getting this feeling from my fellow millennials that they think Gen Z is lazy, entitled, and don't want to work hard. In short, Indian Gen Z lacks ambition. Is that true though? Is an entire generation of young people losing ambition? Are we seeing a generation made up of Oris? And if it is so, why is that happening? I mean, when you think about it, Ori saying I am a liver is not a question. It's a declaration of independence and how he doesn't give a fuck anymore. Has Gen Z now realized that even they don't need to give a fuck anymore? Yeah. Is that true? This is a video about what the Indian Gen Z wants. This is a video about why they want different things. This is a video about why they might not get what they want. Sad but true. On that, I have a bunch of thoughts. Oh wait, before we dive in, a bit of a disclaimer. This video comes from the point of view of a privileged, urban, upper class, English speaking millennial person who grew up in India believing that the system more or less works. This is not a video where I claim to know what all Gen Zs in India and across the world are thinking. I'm not claiming that. I'm going to explore a very specific sliver of population in India today, which is privileged, city-dwelling, English-speaking young people. Yeah, now let's get into it. To understand the state of Gen Z today, we have to start with defining who they are. For this video, let's make a rough marker of sorts. Say, Gen Z means people who are born around 2002. Now imagine this person in your head. They do reasonably well in school. They're told the usual things.
बस अभी थोड़ी मेहनत कर लो बेटा. Work hard. Things will get easier later.
Then they finish class 12th. The year is 2020 and they are hit in the face with a worldwide pandemic. The pandemic doesn't just shut down their colleges and offices. For all practical purposes, it shut down access to environments through which young people are supposed to understand the world. For 2 whole years. So our Gen Z person is now attending online classes. Social life has disappeared. Family is losing income. Some have lost parents, friends, relatives. Basically, the pandemic made sure that a future which was already looking uncertain for them has suddenly become an abstract painting which you can't understand. And everybody has a different interpretation when they look at it. All of this matters more than we admit. And it has ended up shaping an entire generation of human beings. What happens when a society keeps promising certain outcomes and then all of a sudden removes the pathways to reach them? There is literally a term for this. French sociologist Émile Durkheim calls this anomie. Anomie is a state of normlessness or social breakdown, a breakdown of shared moral standards and values, often triggered by rapid social changes like industrialization, leading to feelings of purposelessness, alienation, and increased deviance, including crime and as individuals lack clear social guidance. Simply put, anomie describes a state where the rules still exist, goals still exist, but the connection between effort and outcome breaks down. People are told what to want, but no longer see how to get there. This is the environment in which Gen Z entered adulthood. And personally, I feel older folks haven't really put in much effort into understanding the impact of this. Okay, continuing with our Gen Z person's life trajectory. Remember that person? Yeah. By the time college reopens physically, they are already in their third year. And just as they start looking for jobs, we hit a recession. There are hiring freezes, layoffs, and of course, the rise of AI, which further threatens their chances of getting even an entry-level job. In 2026, this is where we are at. Just to summarize, this Gen Z person born in 2002 went through intense academic pressure first, which is a very Indian trait by default. And after working for years and hoping for the best, they are hit with a pandemic where the normal world just disappears. Then when they're about to enter the job market, the market itself starts collapsing. All of this has to do weird things to the brain. I believe that this basically destroyed what we used to think of as ambition and rewired it, changed it completely. Earlier, having ambition made sense because efforts led to some meaningful outcome. But for Gen Z, it almost seems like the world has conspired to make sure there is no meaningful outcome for their efforts. And that's crazy. So, I, for one, don't think Gen Z is lazy, clueless, entitled, or unserious. I think it is a generation that has gone through massive collective trauma, and we have been trying to find simplistic explanations for why they behave a certain way. Simplistic. So I don't want to do that. I want to make this video which is not simple. It is a lot of nuance in it, and you can see the length. That's why. It is an exploration of this topic. By the way, viewer, if you are an elder millennial like me who is interacting with Gen Z on a regular basis and have formed simplistic opinions like I had, I sincerely hope this video helps you a little bit. All of this that I just told you kind of explains how Gen Z feels. But feelings don't exist in a vacuum. If ambition has changed or broken, we should be able to see it in the most obvious place possible. Money! Yes, because you see, for decades, ambition in India has followed a very simple logic. First you study hard, then you get educated, then you earn well by getting a job, and then you build a stable life. That's it. Ambition. So the next question becomes unavoidable. What happens when an entire generation does the studying, but the promised stability at the end of it never shows up? When it feels like an impossible mountain to climb. So yeah, let's talk about Alright, let's get this straight. In India, when we talk about ambition and success, we are basically talking about just one thing: money. Why do you study hard? To earn money. Why do you get educated? So that you can earn more money. What gives you a stable life? More money. Obviously. That's the deal. Ambition has to finally lead to you earning more money. If you don't, then you are basically certified failure and ambitionless. Okay, before we get further, I want to tell you about two concepts which often create a very basic confusion. Income is not equal to wealth. Income is not wealth. Income is what you earn every month to survive. Wealth is what gives you stability. Savings, assets, investments, a buffer against emergencies, the ability to plan for a future without panicking. That's wealth. For decades, education was supposed to be the bridge between income and wealth. Earning an income is relatively easy. You get a job, you earn an income. But turning that into wealth, which makes your life stable, requires some level of awareness and education. So the Indian logic is, you put in effort early in life, get educated, get a job, start getting an income. But your ambition should be to save more and create wealth. For Gen Z, this bridge is kind of shaky. They did all the steps, but the reward for crossing this bridge is to reach the other side and stare into a dark, endless pit. You look down into the abyss looks back at you and says, "Hey, listen, you don't come inside, okay? Yeah, you'll die. Then don't blame me. Don't blame me if you die. And stop staring at me. I'm very shy, वैसे. Hi. Don't come down. Sorry. Anyway, let me describe this dark pit for you. First, you pay rent. Fun fact, rents in major metros, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi NCR have increased 64% between 2020 and 2025. In cities like Bangalore, average rent for a 1 BHK often touches like 30k, while entry-level salaries remain between 25 to 40k a month. India has one of the lowest home ownership rates among urban youth under 35. Second, you commute to work. And since you can't afford to pay rent and stay near your workplace, commute time increases. Average commute time in Indian metros is somewhere between 60 to 90 minutes per day, one way. Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi regularly rank among the worst cities globally for traffic congestion. Indians spend more time commuting than resting, and that leads to horrifying situations like in Mumbai locals where people just fall off and die. So public transport is garbage. Third, buy food. Yeah, you need food, but even that is not safe to eat. Recently, the police busted a giant scam of fake paneer. Yeah, FSSAI named paneer the most adulterated food after 83% of samples failed safety tests. There was another example involving reselling of expired packaged products by relabeling them. So yeah, the food you eat is not great. I mean, it will kill you. Fourth, go to the hospital because you are eating garbage food, remember? So you fall sick and then you go to the hospital. India has one of the highest out-of-pocket healthcare expenditures in the world. A single medical emergency can wipe out years of savings. Most young Indians have no comprehensive health insurance. So yeah, that's the pit. It's dark. At the end of it all, you have very less savings, so you are unable to create wealth. The struggle is real. It's like Gen Z is interacting with all of these systems that make up our society, systems that they were told would help them, reward them, but now they are seeing none of those systems do the jobs that they are actually supposed to do. It's all just utter random chaotic darkness. Philosopher Judith Butler calls this situation precarity. She says precarity describes a few different conditions that pertain to living beings. Anything living can be expunged at will or by accident, and its persistence is in no sense guaranteed. As a result, social and political institutions are designed in part to minimize conditions of precarity, especially within the nation state. In simple words, everything has become so random and unpredictable. The institutions that were supposed to cushion us against this randomness have also collapsed, making the problem really, really bad. Why else do you think people keep saying that India is a banana republic? Because it feels like we are living in the jungle again. Okay, take wealth acquisition for example. The expectation of a Gen Z person getting out of college are the following. First, upskill yourself endlessly to keep yourself relevant because the world is changing so goddamn rapidly. Second, get a job, but that would never be a guarantee. It will be under temporary contract, short term, because even the companies themselves don't know when they will have to pivot and fire a bunch of people, or they will go bankrupt because they don't support their favorite government. Third, make a career. But how? The average Gen Z person would have to keep changing their jobs and doing something else every other year. If they can't really advance professionally, gain enough experience and earn more money. Fourth, try to create value, a personal brand constantly, which means they have this innate fear of becoming irrelevant in society. You never know when society decides that the job you were doing yesterday will become irrelevant tomorrow. So you tell me, in this situation, how the do you create wealth? Wealth is, after all, a function of stability. And if Gen Z lives are unstable as hell, how do they save money and create wealth for themselves? They have to be satisfied with living paycheck to paycheck. That is, if they actually manage to get a paycheck in the first place, even that isn't guaranteed. In a situation like this, having long-term ambition feels like an almost irrational thing to do. Instinctively, we all understand now that you cannot plan long term. The only people who are able to do that are the ones who already have wealth. And if you are wondering why living in India feels like this,
नहीं बहुत बढ़िया भाई लैंड कराओ लैंड हैं भाई मुझे लंबी राइड नहीं करनी ज्यादा भाई अरे मम्मी रे अरे बाप रे अरे अरे दादा रे नहीं 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 ठीक नहीं ठीक बात 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 अरे नहीं भाई.
yes, it feels like a weird, endless session of adventure sports which have been forced into, and you don't really like it, but you are doing it, and you're like, oh my god, please stop. Why does it feel this way? It's because of wealth inequality. Yeah, just look at it. Top 1% of Indians own over 40% of our national wealth. Bottom 50% own just around 15%. And inequality has just worsened post-pandemic. Simply put, the only people who have stability are those who already have a shit ton of money and wealth. And that wealth is leading to more wealth, leaving very little for the people who don't have any wealth. You know what's worse? Even people who want to gather wealth are getting priced out of the market. Every year that you don't have enough money kept aside, invested and saved is an year where the rent goes up, prices go up, and everything just becomes more expensive. And you are left playing an endless game of catch up with zero guarantees. Also zero wealth. On top of that, when older people say shit like,
be patient, you Gen Z betas. Success takes time, okay? We were patient in our time.
yeah, that feels like a punchline to a joke now, doesn't it? Yeah. Or when startup founders say stuff like,
Move fast and break things. Keep innovating. Don't settle. Embrace the hustle culture. Hustle, hustle.
so these people are basically stating the obvious. They are describing the trap that Gen Z finds themselves in without really realizing that they are trapped. The free market now requires you to constantly keep changing yourself, keep trying to be relevant, keep making up a personal brand, make yourself valuable, because the market is not going to do it for you. And even that doesn't guarantee you a stable, wealthy life, because the market might think you are valuable today, but tomorrow they're like, who cares about you? Go away. That, my friends, is just exhausting. Yeah, it's exhausting. Speaking of exhausting, let's talk about So why do people want to gather wealth? Well, the reason is that wealth will guarantee their personal well-being, both physically and mentally. For human beings, that is what stability is really about. Being able to grow old and have some sort of guarantee that when you are physically unable to work and earn money, you still have a comfortable life. Indians of the past generation used to dream of retirement. Essentially, a generation before me, young people took up a job and did it for years, decades. My mother-in-law, for example, joined a government hospital when she became a doctor. She retired after working at the same hospital for 40 years. 40 freaking years! Tell me, how many millennials watching this have that level of job guarantee? How many Gen Zers? Because I can imagine how that has even gotten worse. The only option which guarantees this sort of a stable job is government jobs. And you know what's happening with that. So, ambition traditionally has always been to have some sort of lifelong stability, because stability ensures well-being. And since we don't have any of that now, we are kind of wrecked. So physical and mental health is one part of well-being, but the other part is the actual quality of life, the living. Remember what Ori said?
I'm living, I'm a liver. I am here to live, I'm living. Yeah, I'm a liver.
See, you might be a liver, but what is the quality of life that you are living? Are you a healthy, wealthy, and wise liver? Or are you a liver riddled with cirrhosis in the body of an alcoholic drug addict? Quality of life is currently attached to this one thing called work-life balance. Yeah, let's talk about that. Because that phrase gets thrown around a lot, usually by people who don't actually believe in it. Okay, side note to all the viewers who know such people who don't believe in work life or are fans of Narayan Murthy, please do me one favor today. Share this episode with an old person who holds such garbage views about work-life balance. Hopefully, maybe 1 out of 20 of those people would learn something and maybe change their views. Well, we can only hope. Share karo. Okay, so work-life balance. It has 3 words. Work, life, and balance. The balance part assumes that both are supposed to coexist comfortably. But for most young people in India today, that balance part doesn't exist. It's utterly broken. Allow me to paint you a picture. Tell me if you relate to any of this. In major Indian cities, the average working professional spends anywhere between 1 to 3 hours a day just commuting. Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi routinely rank among the worst cities in the world for congestion. So even before your work starts, you have lost time, energy, lung capacity, and patience. Then your boss at the work, who believes in live fast, break things kind of nonsense and is deeply immersed in hustle culture and is a Narayan Murthy fan, will overwork you to the bone. Work is supposed to be 9 hours on paper, but you are expected to pull off at least 11 to 12 hours without complaining. And after you come back from work, you are so exhausted that you won't cook your own food and do household chores. You'd rather order an unhealthy as burger from Zomato than Netflix and chill. You stay up late into the night, revenge watching some garbage on the internet or endlessly scrolling reels or partying with people who are going through similar shit. And then you justify all of this by saying that this is a reward for a hard day of work. That is what you tell yourself each day, every day. If you related to any of that, then I have some bad news for you. This sort of lifestyle has a direct impact on your body. You get sicker, both physically and mentally. It's gotten so bad that the average height of Indians has actually reduced. No, not kidding. The rest of the world's height is growing. Indians, it is reducing. A study found that women's average height has declined by roughly 0.42 centimeters. Men's average height has decreased by 1.1 centimeter in the age group of 15 to 25. That's nuts! In addition, cancer cases are going up and lifestyle diseases are also on a rise. It's easy for me to sit here and tell you that you need to eat healthier. Stop watching so much short form content. Hang out with your friends more. Read more. And go frolic around in a park over the weekends. Get some sun on you. Yeah, all of these things will improve your overall well-being, but I'm not going to be the person to tell you that. I'm going to let WHO do it actually. So, according to WHO, well-being is a positive state experienced by individuals and societies. Similar to health, it is a resource for daily life and is determined by social, economic, and environmental conditions. Well-being encompasses quality of life and the ability of people and societies to contribute to the world with a sense of meaning and purpose. So, notice what it says: social, economic, and environmental conditions. That's why I'm saying it's not a lifestyle problem, it is actually a structural problem for us. And I know personally that you might not have control over any of these. Okay, let me explain. Take a look at this. It's called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I call this the triangle of human well-being. Let's start from the bottom up. At the very bottom, the foundation, we have physiological needs. Basic stuff that your body needs. Food, water, warmth, rest. Then above that, we have safety needs, which is security. Then above that, we have social needs or belongingness. Friends, family, and intimate relationships. Then comes esteem needs. A feeling of accomplishment, doing something that is satisfying, which makes you happy to exist. And finally, at the very tippy top, we have self-actualization. Basically reaching your full potential as a human being and being satisfied with who you are, where you are, and what you do. That brings you inner peace and just general nice feels. What this little triangle tells you is also how unequal our society really is. Right now, we are struggling even for basic foundational needs. 80 crore people in India are dependent on government for food. We have the most polluted cities in the world, and kids are dying after drinking contaminated water. All of this is happening right now in 2026. If you are fortunate enough to even ensure the basic things for yourself, can anyone really guarantee your safety right now? Just one level above. I mean, police behave like a gang. They arrest people for offering namaz in empty houses these days. Bulldozers are running over houses and shops all the time. People get beaten up for their religion or something that they said. Traffic cops exist to just take bribes, not really maintain traffic. Women are still afraid to go out at night in major Indian cities. We are all too familiar with this. Then we come one level above that. We are facing a massive loneliness epidemic. Communities are breaking down. People don't want social interactions because they would rather do it anonymously over the internet, because it's easier. I've done a whole episode on this, you can check it out. And the other two are connected to these, and only the very privileged and wealthy are even allowed to feel self-actualized or surround themselves with luxury in an attempt to self-actualize. Yeah, I'm not judging. Whatever floats your boat. You see, I think Gen Z intuitively understands this whole pyramid. They are hyper aware about everything happening around them and have come to the conclusion that their well-being is no more a guarantee. And even if they fight for it, it is kind of exhausting and pointless. And I agree with them. This deal sucks balls. I mean, why do you think Greta Thunberg is so pissed off? Remember her?
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Gen Z has realized that the humans that came before them, including us, have ruined their own well-being and that of generations that come after them. They are basically a generation which did not ask to be brought into this shitty situation, and it is messing with their brains so much. This feeling is what they call a burnout. Yeah, in case you don't know, burnout is not being lazy, being weak, or being unable to handle pressure. No, it's not. The term burnout originally comes from occupational psychology. It was used to describe workers who are exposed to chronic stress without control, recovery, or reward. These three terms, that is what it's about. Chronic stress is caused by external pressure that never switches off. Lack of control is when you feel like you have no say on your own life and decisions. No reward is a feeling you get after working hard on something and not getting anything meaningful at the end of it. These three things lead to a state of burnout. It's almost like the story of Sisyphus. He was cursed by Zeus to push a boulder up the mountain, only to see it roll back down. Sisyphus had to repeat this again and again as a punishment. efficient. That's actually a great metaphor for modern day burnout. Gen Z has been condemned to be Sisyphus. Work doesn't end at the end of the workday, and even if it does, there is a constant need to keep your brain engaged by plugging it into the internet. It even eats into your sleep. Your brain never gets to rest. The platforms on the internet have been designed to give our brains a constant drip feed of dopamine. So much so that you get addicted to it. We are all scared and afraid of being bored for even a single second. Do you realize that? And the algorithms on the internet make sure that you keep getting that dopamine rush so that you don't get bored. Everything is actually tailored to your likes and needs, so it barely ever misses, and it's almost like a gambler. You're a gambler on the internet. So you end up with an ultra tired brain that is unable to process what information is coming your way. The modern world's work-life cycle causes your brain to rot. Brain rot is a term that you must have heard of. It's a state of mind where your brain keeps you aware for longer, breaks up your attention into little pieces and spreads it around, then causes massive anxiety about 10 things at once, and you cannot focus on one thing for a long time. Brain rot is not a sign of stupidity, by the way. It is a sign of cognitive exhaustion caused by external pressures, primarily algorithms showing you garbage on the internet. So, all of this is leading to a rise in chronic illnesses, lifestyle diseases, and terrible mental health conditions. Just think about it for a second. Gen Z is experiencing brain rot induced burnout because they were born into an environment that is actively hostile to the human body. हाँ, I know harsh truths बोलना पड़ेगा. किसी को तो someone has to say it. And you know who else is hostile to your human body? The people in power. Yes, let's talk about You know what? It's a truism when I say that Gen Z is the most hyper-aware generation ever to be born. They intuitively know about all these issues that I mentioned. Maybe they aren't able to articulate it yet, but they know what life looks like for them. So why don't they do anything about it? Why does it feel like they've given up? That they don't have any ambition or even need to fix any of this? Yeah, it would be easy for me to go into blame game mode right now, but I'm sure every Gen Z person watching this has already heard all of this before.
Oh, you lazy people.
Young people are so direct and rude, but don't want to work on themselves.
What? You have mental health issues? That's just an excuse. Please.
You see, they lack patience only. हमारे ज़माने में we used to walk to the market and buy stuff. Now look at them spread out on the sofa like that and getting 10-minute deliveries.
Wasted generation only.
I know you've heard this before, so I'm going to do the opposite and tell you, my dear Gen Z, it's not your fault. I'm going to try and articulate why all of this is happening to you. First, a recap. So far, we have established two main themes. Acquiring wealth is now an extreme sport. You're not exactly building a future, you are just surviving, paying rent, eating shitty food, getting sicker, and not really getting anywhere. Second, well-being is collapsing. People are burnt out, sick, lonely, scrolling, and surviving on algorithmic dopamine like it comes free with Modi ji's ration scheme somehow. Atta and data. That's what Modi ji provides for all of us in copious quantities. The thing is, even if Gen Z sees all of this clearly, they don't feel like they can do anything about it. Because if you're broke, tired, and sick, but you still feel like change is possible, you can kind of push through. But if you're broke, tired, sick, and powerless, what happens then? What happens if you feel like change is not even possible? Congratulations, we have entered Ori's mindset again. I mean, the guy is a modern day philosopher, I tell you.
I am here to live. I'm living. Yeah, I'm a liver.
What can I do? I have to keep bringing him back. Liver! So, let me tell you where this feeling of powerlessness comes from. 1. Democracy is crumbling. Our democratic system is supposed to work something like this. You vote, you participate, institutions respond, problems get solved, your life improves, you trust the system more, rinse and repeat. That is the basic boiled down social contract. That's the democratic pitch. But Gen Z has watched this loop break in real time. They've watched a country where rules exist, rights exist, institutions exist on paper, but outcomes don't exist. And when outcomes disappear, participation starts feeling like a giant farce, fake news, a scam. Number two, institutions have been captured. Take the justice system for example. If I'm young and I'm screwed, or something happens to me at work by my landlord or a scamster or a random Sanghi mob shows up that and is upset that I'm praying at an empty house. Anything can happen in India. What recourse do I have? In theory, I can go to the police, but then the police behaves like a criminal enterprise itself. So I knock on the doors of a court. That leads to jack shit because the justice system is in absolute shambles. India's national judicial data grid shows roughly 4.77 crore pending cases. Delays have become a feature, not a bug. So any Gen Z person looks at all of this and thinks, even if I'm right in this terrible situation, am I going to get relief in time to live a normal life? Will I get justice when it matters? Probably not. I'm sorry. And this is the state of literally every institution in India right now. It doesn't do the job it is supposed to do. For example, Parliament keeps getting disrupted and is being run by an overlord speaker who does the government's bidding. Media prefers to sit on the lap of the government rather than hold it accountable, thus becoming Godi media. Election Commission is currently actively screwing up the entire electoral system with the SIR. I have done many videos on this. Government, it's more interested in doing propaganda and screwing over the opposition simultaneously than actually doing governance. And our Prime Minister has become prime influencer. He goes around the world, takes nice photographs, inaugurates things and shows up to give speeches. But what is he doing? Where is he? I can go on, but the point is our institutions have been captured and it's a terrible situation to be in. 3. Basic systems are in shambles. Gen Z is living in an era where systems that are supposed to run our society routinely do stupid things and then ask citizens to not just accept those stupid things but force feed them down their throats. Biggest example of this is education. If you have been told your entire childhood to work hard, crack exams, achieve success, get a government job, and then an exam paper leaks multiple times, what are you supposed to do? In the NEET UG 2024 matter, even the Supreme Court noted that a paper leak was an undisputed fact and that it is a widespread systemic problem that needs to be dealt with. So when something like this happens, what are you supposed to do? Protest?
नेतू मैम यहाँ है और यहाँ पे किस तरीके से प्रशासन डिटेन करती हुई सभी लोगों को और ये देखिए मैडम
लाठियों से मारा गया है अभी। ये हुआ है टीचर्स के साथ में, ये देख रहे हैं, ये हुआ है अभी, ये देखिए, ये देखिए, ये देख रहे हैं, ये टीचर्स हैं।
Yeah, I'm sure protests will work, but then you get beaten up by the police and yeah, the people who are supposed to protect you, yeah, they beat you up. So a combination of all of these three things leads to a feeling of utter frustration and powerlessness. You know what? I often wonder why Gen Z is so apolitical. Why don't they put in more effort into understanding the democratic setup? Why don't they care about it? Why don't they see this? Why don't they see the downfall? And I think I get it now. These are all complex problems that cannot be solved by an individual who decides to hustle. Finding solutions requires state capacity and functioning institutions. And it's become very obvious that these institutions are not even aware about their problems or care enough to solve them. I mean, as I record this, 2 days ago, a young man died after falling into a water ditch in Noida. The police was there, people were there, fire people were there. A delivery guy tried to save him but failed, and for 1.5 hours they just watched him slowly drown. And his friend basically said that he wanted to get out of the country. Yeah.
ये मेरे से
जी मेरी मेरे भाई से बहुत बातें होती थी एंड मैं बहुत क्लियरली इसको स्टेटमेंट में बोलना चाहूँगा इस बात में, ठीक है। हम शायद चैट्स वगैरह में व्हाट्सएप पे आप देख सकते हैं। तो वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इस चीज़ में था कि इंडिया के अंदर डेवलपमेंट, इंडिया के अंदर प्रिकॉश सेफ्टी मेजर्स बिल्कुल नहीं है। उनकी दीदी खुद यूके सेटल्ड है, तो उन्हें पता था, तो वो भी खुद सोचते थे कि कहीं ना कहीं भी एक टाइम पे आके हम लोग सेटल, हम यूएस पापा के शादी वादी के बाद हम चले जाएंगे। वो खुद कहते थे कि यहाँ पे ना सड़कें हैं, ना फैसिलिटीज़ है, टैक्सेस इतने ज़्यादा पे करने होते हैं, हर चीज़ दिख रहा था उन्हें, ठीक है। तो बट ठीक है, उनके फादर ने अकेले थे, मॉम उनकी नहीं थी, तो वो फादर के लिए ही रुके हुए थे कि ठीक है हम आराम से रुकेंगे, करेंगे। और जिस तरह से मेरे भाई की जान गई है वो बिल्कुल सही कह रहा था, उसे बहुत पहले ही समय निकल जाना चाहिए था।
And you know what? I do understand that even speaking about these problems feels kind of risky now or just pointless. When information delivery systems like our lovely media has been hijacked, degraded and turned into an absolute dumpster fire, when the spread of misinformation has become like an industrialized operation, then it starts to feel like nobody is listening and nobody cares. It leads to an utter feeling of isolation and, yes, you guessed it, powerlessness. There is a concept in psychology called learned helplessness. When people consistently experience stress, lack of control and don't get rewarded for their effort, then they stop trying and go into a static state of mind. The brain adapts to the situation and freezes up. It's almost like the brain says, why should I burn energy on a system that just doesn't respond? My actions don't matter anyway, so why bother? Who gives a shit? For instance, someone in an abusive relationship might stop trying to leave because past attempts have failed, convincing them that they are trapped and there is no escape and there might be some meaning behind this. Gen Z, in simple words, is in an abusive relationship with the entire world right now and they feel trapped and powerless. And that, my dear friends, makes me very sad. No, legit, it does. You see, when I sat down to write this episode with my very Gen Z team, we were trying to drill down on this question: have Gen Z lost ambition? And believe me when I say this, all of us experienced an overwhelming sense of despair, of helplessness as we read more, did more research, and tried to put this video together. I personally almost gave up, which actually made me understand how Gen Z feels better than anything else. Ironically, even writing a video on this is causing me to feel burnout and feel helpless. Imagine living it. All at once, overwhelming you, causing you to enter into a deep, dark pit. Oh, well, shit. Okay, we need a mental health break here. Like, we seriously do. Take some JCB ki khudai. Welcome back. Feel better? Brain reset? I know this is very heavy. I feel it too. But I don't want to leave you on this depressing note, honestly. So, is there anything we can do about this? Is there a solution? On that, I have a bunch of thoughts. When I was growing up, I was addicted to this one song by LinkedIn Park. It's called In the End. The chorus went like this: I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I wish I could play that song. Oh my god, what a banging song. Sorry, copyright strike. YouTube! Anyway, that portion of the song I feel captures the current Gen Z mindset perfectly. We started this episode with one question. Has Gen Z in India lost its ambition? I think the answer is that the meaning of ambition itself has changed. So Gen Z didn't lose ambition. I think it lost faith. Think about it. Ambition is when you believe that you will work towards something and the world will respond and it will reward you. But faith helps you keep doing that until you get that reward. It keeps you going, it keeps you moving, it doesn't let you give up. What we are seeing is an entire generation's collective loss of faith. It's like Gen Z is saying to us, I want a good life, but I just don't believe in the definition of what a good life is anymore. The worst part is when an entire generation goes, nope, quiet quits and checks out. Yeah, institutions don't just magically repair themselves. They don't just magically improve. They rot faster because accountability needs annoying people. Like annoying people. People who just keep going, pushing that boulder up the hill and continue to be annoying for the people in power. It requires faith and belief that things will and can improve. So I want to propose a few solutions on how to restore faith. And I'll address two categories of viewers separately. So first, let's talk to the millennials. Hello, fellow millennials. Look, I get it. We grew up on this propaganda as well. Work hard, be patient, pay your dues, start from the bottom, respect the system. Talent will be respected. You will be valued. Yeah, that didn't work. And then somewhere along the way, we internalized a very dangerous belief. If I have suffered in my life, you should also suffer. Now you younger people should suffer also. Hamare zamane mein, it's the easiest thing in the world to look at a Gen Z person and say, oof, kids these days are so soft only. Back in my day, this is such an entitled generation, I tell you. Such arrogance, much wow, so lazy only. Trust me, I've had those thoughts as well. But this Gen Z's lazy discourse is honestly not helping. We are just outsourcing our middle-age trauma and putting it on the people who are just starting their life. This is precisely what our parents and elders did to us. Maybe, just maybe it's time to stop and it's time to break this cycle. I don't think Gen Z is a productivity glitch that needs to be fixed. In fact, this obsession we have with productivity actually needs to stop as well. It's not leading to anything meaningful and valuable. Just look around you. Kya garbage hai sab jagah. I need you to understand that Gen Z entered adulthood during a global pandemic, a collapsing economy, rising costs, a collapsing world order, and rotting institutions that do nothing to fix any of it. They witnessed a literal genocide live on their phone screens in short form content. Oh my god. It's almost like we are dealing with a person who went to war, saw some bodies being blown up, then their side lost, they escaped somehow with a few limbs missing and have barely managed to make it home. And now that they are home, we are asking them,
Why are you so lazy? Why don't you work harder?
yeah, it's because they're experiencing severe trauma right now. That's why. And they know about it, but they're too tired to articulate it to us. They're trying to develop the vocabulary for it, but we dismiss them as entitled jerks. As a result, they further retreat into a shell and they're like, I don't give a f anymore. I'm a liver. So millennials, please stop. Yeah, that's it. Stop. We collectively need to do this thankless job of constantly telling them things will get better. It might feel like a lie, but there is no objective truth in the world anymore anyway. Did you notice? Why not spread and believe in a lie that actually helps us? I think we need to restore our faith first, the millennials, before we ask the Gen Z to do it. And now, let me talk to my Gen Z viewers. First things first, I'm sorry. Yeah, on behalf of all the older people who have been shitty to you, I acknowledge it, even if nobody else does. And if it helps, I apologize for that behavior on their behalf. Listen, I'm an elder millennial uncle now, but I am not going to give you the manifest your dreams sort of random motivational spiel. Relax. वो सब Instagram पे होता है. But I have to tell you this. Your brain is lying to you when it says that having hope is naive. Hope is actually a good thing. Maybe it's the best of things. But hope requires you to expend some energy. It requires you to take some risk and it requires you to be vulnerable. Take this very channel as an example. Why do I write these videos? These long ass deep dive videos when I know that the algorithm doesn't really promote them. It's not how you become successful on YouTube, to be honest. I know all of that. I do it because I have hope. I hope that there are people out there who are feeling the same things that I am and need it to be vocalized. I have gained this skill of making videos, writing scripts and articulating and vocalizing some ideas and thoughts and feelings, and I'm doing that. These videos are done with the hope that I validate some of your feelings and generate more hope that they start a chain reaction which leads to something good. Maybe. I have chosen not to be detached and just let things happen. I choose to be that annoying little prick on the internet who is an optimist that keeps hoping that things will get better. Things will get better. Things will get better. The thing is, the way I see it, very few people are doing it nowadays, saying things will get better. So I will. My simple advice to you as an elder millennial uncle is to not work harder. Yeah, the opposite. Don't work harder. My advice to you is to find people who restore your faith. Put all of your energy into that one thing. I have myself taken a step in that direction, by the way. Okay. This is the Citizen Magnate Journal. It is a daily diary of sorts that gives you 10-minute tasks every day, which helps you become a better citizen. It teaches you how to create democratic environments around you, how to find representatives, how to read the constitution, and much more. It will help you understand the things that are happening around you, but break it down into like palatable pieces which you can do something about. Like, I hope it can turn your life into an adventure, a fun little adventure, like a role-playing game, but without you feeling overwhelmed while playing it. And after you have these adventures, you can discuss them with me in person. Yeah, you can join the You Are Not Alone Club, where we will spend time talking about what you have been up to, what sort of adventures you are having, and generate some solid feelings of solidarity and hope. And you meet other people who are also having these adventures with you. I hope this will work. Maybe it will help you find a community and maybe restore faith. Please do consider getting this and joining the club. We are having our first meeting on the 26th of January, which is Republic Day, in the evening. So if you're watching this video before that, please do consider coming for that. My objective, as always, is to form a nerdy little community that is a force for good, for restoring faith. Hope you join us. And even if you don't, try and find your people. Yeah, find them with the objective of restoring faith, raising some hope. How do you identify such people? Okay, that's a very long separate video, I think. Maybe I will work on it. For now, I leave that for you to find out. And if you find out, please tell me also. I can't be that handholdy, okay? If you have an answer, leave it in the comments below. How do you find people who will restore faith? Tell me. Niche. Okay, I sincerely hope that this video has helped you make sense of the world around you a little better. I know this was heavy, this was long, but it was long coming and I think this was important. That's it from me and I will see you in the next one. See you, friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you. And also, please do consider supporting this channel. Please become a member if you like this kind of content. Honestly, making long form videos is no joke. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And I do everything along with my team. I now have a team. Yes, so your support genuinely means a lot, which means that we will be able to do more of this kind of content and stuff that you like. Also cover the news, also do live streams and a lot of other things. And of course, I will see you at the You Are Not Alone Club if you are around. Bunchofmerch.com is where you can get this. Bunchofmerch.com is also where you will find a form where you can join this You Are Not Alone Club. And you don't really need to buy this to come into the club. You can just watch while other people talk and have their adventures. So yeah, go right ahead. Bunchofmerch.com. And again, thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.